This is Mac from JLPTBootcamp.com here with another JLPT N5 grammar lesson, this time going over the Japanese particle ga. And just as a quick side note here, for the JLPT N5 level, particles are really important. The different particles de, ni, o, mo, all these particles are going to be really important for the N5 test, for you to pass the N5 test, especially in the grammar section, of course, but also in the reading sections and the listening sections. It's really important that you internalize each one of these particles and make them very automatic. And so I encourage you to really make sure that you understand the differences between and the nuances between each one of these little guys, because they can cause, for being incredibly little things, they can cause some big headaches. So be sure to know these particles well. But anyway, getting back to the topic at hand, the ga particle is the subject marker particle in Japanese, and it serves a similar but different role than wa, which is the topic marker. And just a quick refresher, the subject is something that's doing something, and the wa, the topic, is more like kind of the general, what the general conversation is about. It's not necessary information to further the conversation, so to speak. And ga is different from wa in that it marks information that is necessary to convey the meaning. One big example of this is when you first mention something. So something that can't be understood from context, you need to use ga. Something that could be understood from context, it's okay to use wa for that. If you need a little bit of a refresher on the wa particle, I have a video lesson of that that I published about a month ago, so check that out. Anyway, in some ways, of course, wa and ga are very similar to a and the in English, but of course not identical. They serve similar roles, but of course nothing's directly translatable, so kind of be careful with this analogy, if you will. So for example, take a look at these two sentences in English. First mention, a woman lives next door. We're using a because it's the first time we've mentioned this woman. You don't know about the woman, so we use a. Second mention, we can use the woman because we've already mentioned her before, so we're talking about that same specific woman again. The woman is pretty. And so this is kind of the basic rule in English. A for first mention, the for second mention. Now in Japanese, if you look at these sentences, you kind of have a similar thing going on with ga and wa that you do with a and the. So the first mention would be ona no hito ga tonari ni sunde imasu. So a woman lives next door. It's the first mention. We use ga. And the second mention would be sono ono no hito wa kirei da. So that woman we mentioned before is pretty. So you can see here, ga for the first mention, wa for the second mention. And this is true for common nouns, not things that are one of a kind, not proper names. We can use this for common nouns. The first time we mention a common noun, use ga. Second time we mention it, use wa to refer to that same specific noun that we mentioned before. So let's check your understanding so far of what we're kind of going over here. What does the following sentence mean? Atoku no hito wa tsuyoi desu. Now, at first, you might think this means one of the following. A man is strong, or the man is strong. In English, there's this concept of plural, like one man, two men. And so that concept doesn't really exist in Japanese. But you might have kind of this idea that it might you might be talking about one man. But in reality, what's actually the better translation here is that men are strong, as in all men, not just one. If you're using wa, if you're using the topic marker wa. So otoko no hito wa tsuyoi desu by itself, without any other sentences around it, just, a lonely sentence by itself, would mean that all men are strong, not just one. However, of course, if you do mention a specific man before it, then you're talking about one specific man. So, like so. Otoko no hito ga suwatte imasu. A man is sitting. That's the first time we mentioned him. So we use ga. Second sentence, sono otoko no hito wa tsuyoi desu. The man is strong. If you connect these two sentences like this, then we are talking about one man, one specific man. But if it's by itself, of course, we're talking about all men in general. Now, these are obviously incredibly simple examples. They're only a few words long, but the same rules apply to more complicated sentences as well. And so that's why, again, it's really crucial to get this difference down when you're first learning Japanese, so that you don't have to kind of go back and relearn this stuff. And as a matter of fact, questions about wa and ga have come up on the N1 test, and probably will come up on the N1 test in the future, and even on the N2 test, of course, N3 test. This topic, this battle between wa and ga, comes up pretty often. So it's important to get these rules down right. Experiment with wa and ga in your speaking, in your writing. Try to write down some sentences of your own ideas and get those checked. Or, of course, if you are able to have a Japanese tutor or a Japanese teacher, try to make sentences using wa and ga and experiment with this difference until you feel very comfortable with the difference. I can't recommend that enough. Because it might end up causing you a lot of headaches down the road if you don't get this kind of down pat early on. Another way to think of ga, one simple rule, is that you can use it to when you would use a do verb. So, for example, otoko no hito ga hashite imasu. The man is running. So we're using a do verb there. The man is doing an action, it's running, so we use ga. Of course, this is true for, again, common nouns. We would use ga. If it's a proper noun, it's a name, one of a kind, we would use wa to mark it in this situation. So, again, just to sum up, in other words, you use ga when something is doing something, for example, running. Whereas you use wa when something is being something. The be verb is, was. For example, here, the woman next door is beautiful. So we use wa. This has been a grammar explanation video from the JLPT Bootcamp Premium site. Inside the site, you will find some extra goodies, for example, some cheat sheets for all of the videos. And those cheat sheets include a few things. For example, some common mistakes that people make, as well as some example test questions for the JLPT. If you're interested in taking the JLPT and you want that extra edge, something to kind of push you above and get the points that you need to pass, I encourage you to stop by the website at jlptbootcamp.com/premium. There you can find the cheat sheets as well as some extra practice with the grammar points that I've been talking about today. Hope to see you in the premium site very soon. This has been Mac from jlptbootcamp.com.